The Karl Effect refers to a theory reiterated by some MrBeast fans that MrBeast team member Karl Jacobs has a negative effect on other members of the team. The effect is mostly related to Karl Jacobs' effeminate and 𝒄𝒏𝒕 orientated way of presenting himself, rubbing off on other team members. The Karl effect was talked about in relation to MrBeast member Tyson, who started to dress differently and paint his nails in January of 2021. Some likened the change to Karl Jacobs' effect on him and incorrectly stated that Chris left his wife and kid to be bisexual.
I don't like
Karl Jacobs.
that turn the friggin'
Teen.
gay.
I mean, I think we've all been there before. I also had to leave my wife and kids. They just didn't fit my bisexual lifestyle, you know? My wife? No, ex-wife said she still loved me. Yeah, right. He told me we could go to couples therapy, but there was no saving this marriage. That's when I knew the only way for me to escape this cycle of abuse would be to abandon my family and trans my gender. And cut. That was just my reenactment of what I think is going through the head of transphobes. Thank you, I'm here all week. Just don't forget to subscribe and turn on all notifications. Thank you, I would like to thank my mother and my dad for leaving me. He's not transgender, he's just a piece of shit. Now, if you're already a subscriber of mine, then I would venture to say that you are not a huge fan of MrBeast. Dare I even say, hater? Mayhapsably. He's not well received in my circles at least, so it might come as a surprise to you that I don't have any strong opinions on him, though I find some of his videos rather dystopian. At the same time as he's helping a lot of people in need, it rubs me the wrong way to know that there's resources out there but can only be accessed if they agree to be in a video. That's not necessarily the fault of Jimmy Beast Donaldson, but I'm left with a lingering feeling that there's something extremely wrong with the system, and these feel-good videos are nothing but tiny band-aids over an already massive infested wound.
The super strong waterproof tape.
I don't want to spend the rest of this video justifying my indifference to MrBeast. Instead, I suggest you watch Solving the MrBeast Debate by Ryan Beard if you haven't already. When your entire brand is being a generally agreeable dude who does good things, you can't afford to share too much of your opinion, lest you'd alienate a portion of your audience. But if you're marginalized in any way, you probably know that you can't afford to stay neutral in the face of adversity. It's a privilege very few are afforded, and it's something that MrBeast and his team seems to have been grappling with on a more personal level in recent months. It all leads back to none other than Jimmy's childhood friend and collaborator, Tyson, who came out as trans not so long ago.
How you gonna say you know MrBeast when you don't even know who Chris is?
Chris uses any pronouns, by the way. As an outsider looking at old pictures and videos, Chris looks like your average dude. He got married back in 2018 and had a son in 2020, which was also the same year she would first come out on her platform, this time as bisexual. Also, I want to use my alt to let everyone know that I am bisexual, and when I told the few people I did when I was 16, I got a lot of negative backlash from friends/family. Just know, if the people around you don't love and support you, we always will. Announcing it on an alt account, which somewhat limits its reach, and some people were only informed of this now, almost 3 years later. Maybe that's why it came as a surprise to them when the audience increasingly took notice of Chris's changing appearance around 2021. Transition doesn't happen overnight, and we all make small changes at first, like doing your nails or growing your hair out, maybe shaving. These are all things people picked up on and weren't necessarily something Chris tried to hide. Judging by their tweets comparing their current look to what they looked like before, it seems like they kinda wanted the acknowledgement without having to state, "Hey everyone, I'm trans!" Which I get 100%. Maybe that's just me, but I hate coming out because, I don't know, it's so awkward. Like, oh no, gonna have to tell that one friend I only talk to once in a while that I'm in the process of changing my biology through HRT and surgery. That awkward moment when you go through a second puberty. Am I right?
No, I don't think so.
Honestly, I'm not even scared of being disowned anymore. I just find it cringe to open up to others. Yes, I've always been this emotionally constipated. Thank you. It all reached its climax after Chris appeared at Kids' Choice Awards, presenting very femininely, sporting a baby pink blouse, looking very pretty, might I add. But this couldn't be. Of course, some Twitter ghoul had to crawl out of the stinking pit they came from, only to tweet out, "Bro, what the f*** happened?" Which Chris used as an opportunity to confirm many people's suspicion. HRT, and it's only been 2 months. We f***ing love to see it. Unfortunately, with such a large following, there's bound to be some transphobic backlash. 𝒂𝒊𝒃𝒆 commented, "In a few years, look back at this thread and remember, they were never your friends. Only yes men cowards. Hope you come out of this safe." May I point out that this dude lives in Stockholm? Need I say more? That's an L. Stockholm is the stained of Sweden. Ask anyone and they'll tell you that. My mom is calling. Hallå?
Hej,
Hej?
gör du?
Spelar in.
Okej,
Bye, älskar dig.
älskar dig med. Hej.
Awkward. Anyways. To my pleasant surprise, MrBeast actually came out. Came out in defense of Chris. Responding, opinion irrelevant. Ratio. MrBeast ratioing a transphobe was not my 2023 bingo card, not gonna lie. Wow. This sure is the timeline. I don't know which timeline, it's sure is the timeline. M continues with, "I have 30 followers. Go ahead and ratio me. I'll still rest easy knowing I'm not a coward who idly stands by watching a friend ruin his own life." Honestly, I think not transitioning would be more life-ruining. Not only do we have the statistics to back us up, but we know from our own experience. Before I got top surgery, I experienced panic attacks on the daily. I had something growing on my chest and every fiber of my being was screaming that it wasn't meant to be there. It freaked me out that it was stuck to me at all hours of the day and there was absolutely no escaping it. I felt claustrophobic in my own skin. Gender affirming care is nothing short of life-saving, and the grim reality is that a lot of transphobes seem to be painstakingly aware of this, but they just don't care. They just don't care. Karl responded, "I'm watching the whole friend group living happy lives, being them to the truest extent and counting up their money, but keep battling on Twitter, period. You will be dealt with."
Which is illegal in Canada. Just saying.
Real Mr. Frogs really shows what transphobes are all about with his reply. 41% happy, by the way, and that's a reference to 𝒂𝒆. The joke is that roughly 40% of trans people have attempted suicide at one point or another, which is used as a dog whistle that trans people should just kill themselves. This kind of transphobia isn't just someone who's misinformed, it's just plain evil. I don't know what else to describe it, it's evil. Melanie Darigo, excuse me if I didn't pronounce that right, tweeted, Viagra is gender-affirming care, hair transplants are gender-affirming care, breast implants are gender-affirming care. Treating low testosterone in straight men is gender-affirming care. Republicans are trying to erase the trans community, not ban gender-affirming care. Which Chris quote retweeted, adding, informed consent HRT saved my and many others' lives. The hurdles gender non-conforming people have to jump through to get life-saving gender-affirming healthcare in a first world country is wild to me. Just let people make informed decisions about their own bodies. 𝒔𝒊𝒏𝒕 Donaldson once again comes out in support of Chris's transition, responding, got you. Heart emojis. I did one more heart than Karl because I'm a better friend. I don't know how, but there's still people out there who are convinced that Jimmy secretly resents Chris for bringing all this drama. Drama being yourself. And is only supportive as to not be cancelled. Woo! I mean, I'm not MrBeast. I wish I was. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but judging by the amount of support MrBeast is going out of his way to show Chris on Twitter, I'd say it's genuine. He wouldn't have to say any of this to save his skin, I don't think. Most, and I mean most, sane individuals would have probably understood if he only made one tweet, just acknowledging the situation. What he's doing is going above and beyond. Like, come on, it's his childhood friend. I'll never understand the people who drop their long-term friends or even family after coming out as gay, trans, or whatever. Now, of course there's gonna be a bunch of Twitter nobodies crying over the fact that they have to see trans people in public. What about the children? Some are even gonna make videos. One video that would garner more attention than others was by the documentary-esque commentary YouTuber 𝒂𝒐𝒏𝒕. You've probably been recommended him at one point. Why Chris will soon be a nightmare for MrBeast. Now, I don't really watch 𝒂𝒐𝒏𝒕, but even before that dog dropped, I've seen people calling him out for very similar behavior he displayed in the recent video. It could be that he rushed things to get ahead of everyone else, or it's actually a reflection of his transphobic beliefs. Whatever the case, here's just some clips that I'm gonna let speak for themselves.
The true catalyst for Chris Tyson's feminization instead seemed to have come from his marriage. Fans also noticed that he'd removed his wedding ring, with the ring's absence correlating perfectly with the very first post in which he'd painted his nails. And while there was a possibility that Chris would make efforts to return to his former self, he'd rather do the opposite and double down on his feminine image. Chris would once again dress in quite a feminine way, and while everybody participated as usual, the energy and vibe didn't feel nearly as smooth as it normally does. It felt as though there was an unaddressed elephant in the room, and therefore everybody was in their head, as opposed to being in the present moment enjoying each other's company. However, if Chris continues to transition, would it be unreasonable to say that he could jeopardize some of the personality traits which made him a successful member in the first place?
Yes, actually. Yes, it is unreasonable to say that.
And if we've learned anything from Hollywood in recent years, it's that adding over-the-top LGBT characters for the sake of relatability rarely works as intended, and is often nothing more than a distraction from the premise of the movie or video, as he has no way of manipulating the situation without being painted as the bad guy. It's a lose-lose situation for MrBeast. I think Jimmy is in an inescapable situation. If he kicks out Chris, cancelled. If he don't, his channel will die for real. An inescapable situation is a pretty good way of describing the drama, which is also why it deserves the harsh label of being a nightmare.
Forced diversity, why does everything have to be political? No woman in my video game. I don't really know what to tell you, except that even MrBeast himself denounced 𝒂𝒐𝒏𝒕's video. Relolin tweeted, this new 𝒂𝒐𝒏𝒕 video feels really invasive for all the wrong reasons. Like, why did you make this? You delved into a man's marriage and shit, it's just really off-putting and unnecessary. Jimmy replied with, yeah, this is getting absurd. Chris isn't my nightmare, he's my f***ing friend and things are fine. All this transphobia is starting to piss me off. I feel like people, especially those in the public eye, like to dance around any phobias and isms for the sake of keeping the peace. To talk about it automatically makes you too political. So to see Jimmy actually call it what it is, transphobia, I don't know, it gives me hope. Because this is someone who's really influential, witnessing transphobia directed at someone he cares for.
A new member has entered the fray. This battle is no longer fought just by people like myself or, people in this community, but also someone like MrBeast. I've been talking to him for the past couple of days, and he has been in shock about how the reception of Chris coming out as trans has been on the internet.
MrBeast probably isn't gonna be our #1 ally championing trans rights, but I really hope this is gonna be an eye-opener for him, because we could really use him in our corner. Currently, there's a billion-dollar author pushing transphobic myths on her platform daily. I don't know, I just feel like we deserve to have MrBeast on our side. Like, maybe I'm naive, but I feel like something is building up. As a childhood friend and collaborator of one of the biggest YouTubers, Chris has the potential to make a huge impact in some way. I don't know how. I just hope that the Beast Gang, or whatever they call themselves, stick by them. And maybe, just maybe, one day, MrBeast will be mass producing HRT gummies. MrBeast giving 1,000 trans people HRT gummies video. MrBeast performing top surgery on 1,000 trans people all at once video. I don't know, I'm just bouncing ideas here. You know where to find my email if you want to take up any of my offers. That would be f***ing awesome. Maybe almost as awesome as liking this video, subscribing and turning on all notifications. Remember to comment your thoughts. Do you want MrBeast HRT gummies? I really want MrBeast HRT gummies. And follow me on social media. All links in description. If you want a headshot drawn by the one and only, you'll find my commission sheet in my pinned tweet. See you in my next video. Muggen out.
I don't like
Karl Jacobs.
they turn the friggin'
teen.
gay.